It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David and News Editor Philip Catafamo as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics in Yavapai County that affect all our lives. And now here's today's Countywide.
And welcome to another episode of Countywide. I'm your host, Philip Catafamo. I'd like to thank you for joining me. On today's show, we're talking Verde Connect project, and my guest today is Yavapai County Public Works Director Dan Cherry. Mr. Cherry, welcome back to the program.
Thank you so much, Philip. It's good to be here.
Well, it's good to have you, and I know that the Verde Connect project is a major project that's been, I think it was 30 years in the process, and it's still going. 2020 has been quite an interesting year, and that's to say the least. I was curious if we could just do a quick recap for the project so far this year.
Certainly. So for those that have been paying attention, we've been working through a fairly lengthy NEPA process for the first half of this calendar year. That also went back probably a good additional year beyond that. That was really kind of implemented because of the federal funding that we got through a 2018 build grant. We needed to meet the requirements of the National Environmental Policy Act. That has basically involved us developing what's called a draft environmental assessment that we published in April of this year, April 2020. And that opened up a 30-day comment period that then we took public comments we received during that. The project team worked on responses for those, and then we released a final environmental assessment document in July of 2020. And at that time, the Federal Highway Administration also issued a decision based on what our NEPA findings were. That document was called the Finding of No Significant Impact, which kind of allows us to move this project forward with procuring a design build team for the construction of the project.
And that was going to be my next question, which was that NEPA process, but it sounds like they found nothing. Am I correct in saying that?
Well, they found some things. I mean, everyone knows the value of the Verde River. It's a riparian ribbon that runs through the Verde Valley, and so we did identify environmental and cultural resources as part of this process. We knew we would. And so what the NEPA document does is it essentially lays out what mitigative efforts we need to do to basically address the presence of those cultural and environmental resources. So what that means for us from a cultural standpoint is we have to develop what's called a historic properties treatment plan that outlines what we're doing to document and protect whatever environmental or cultural resources we see out there. I should say cultural resources that we see out there. And then the NEPA document also has a pretty detailed list in there of what we need to do to mitigate our potential impacts to the environmental aspects. So there are endangered species in the area. There are, of course, certain times of year that we need to be careful about doing disruptive work that may, cause concerns for nesting birds and whatnot.
And that's the biggest thing too, is when you put in a project like this, you don't want to disturb the natural animals that are usually there, or any sort of resources, or right. Really any kind of, subject or item that is there for a reason, and you don't want to disturb that. Where exactly is this road going?
So the road is a regional connecting road. That's something that, as you mentioned early on, this has been part of a planning effort that has been kind of initially identified going back to as early as 1990. The road a road alignment that we identified as part of the NEPA process essentially settled on an alternative alignment that goes from Corey Drive at State Route 260. It heads to the east across the Verde River, or northeast, if you will, across the Verde River. And then it continues on eventually to the Cornville Road intersection at Beaverhead Flat Road. That is our primary Verde Connect roadway, if you will. But we've also put in a connection to the north end of Middle Verde Road, and that it will also help our regional flow, just to try to get better connectivity. It gives better response times and whatnot for emergency services to that area, and will help to serve economic growth and development into the future.
And you saw that on your screen, just some of the phase 1 and phase 2 of this Verde Connect project. And it's almost like you guys are putting in 3 roads with that small connector into Middle Verde Road.
Certainly so. And the grant that we got, the 2018 build grant, that is a $25 million grant, that is being utilized to construct phase 1, in addition to adding in some county funds that come from our regional road program that is served by our county's existing half-cent sales tax that we have in place.
What kind of road are you putting in, or I shouldn't say you, but excuse me, what kind of road is the project putting in? Is it going to be a multi-lane road, just a 2-lane road, or maybe even just one?
It is 1 lane in each direction at the start. So 2-lane, that's what we call 2-lane road. But we have widened shoulders as part of the main Verde Connect route. We'll have 8-foot paved shoulders that will allow for a variety of multimodal type uses. We've had a lot of support from bicyclist organizations throughout the Verde Valley. It will the bridge will give a walkway over the Verde River that will ultimately be utilized for people that take advantage of hiking trails that go through the area, giving them a place that they can cross over the river where they cannot now.
What kind of bridge are we talking about here? Are we talking about a pretty significant bridge, or just a quick little crossing over the Verde River?
So the overall span of this is about 900 feet long, which is a reasonably good sized bridge. For those that are familiar with Mingus Avenue Bridge over the Verde River, it will be similar to that, is our intent. The details of this bridge will really be worked out as we move forward with the design phase. We did just do 15% construction plans at the early stage for our NEPA process, and the design build teams that we are currently working towards procuring one of those teams, they will need to ultimately really get a more detailed design put in place. But it's likely to be, a concrete bridge. We're not doing some fancy suspension bridge or something like that will very quickly blow our budget. It's going to be something that's stout and sturdy. It will completely span the Verde River, so open water of the Verde River will not have a pier or a column sitting in the middle of it. There are a few piers within the floodway of the Verde River that we are working to mitigate the impacts of those as part of this design. But if you drive across the Mingus Avenue Bridge on the Verde River, that was a county construction project, and I foresee this being something similar to that.
Yeah, it would be kind of bad to blow the entire budget on a nice, big, fancy bridge and a very mediocre road. But of course, that is not the case. You guys are very smart with your funds. If you want any more information about this project, the project in whole, and where we're at currently, visit verdeconnect.com. You can also call the Yavapai County Public Works Department at 928-771-3183 if you want to specifically ask questions about the project. Dan, we just got a little under a minute here. Where are we at today with the project?
So the project team is nearing the issuance of what we call the final request for proposals. We have shortlisted 3 different design and build teams. That would be a team of a design engineer and a construction firm. And we are, once we have that request for proposals issued, they will have roughly a couple months to put together a proposal that will come back to the county for evaluation in late October. We have a design concept report, as I mentioned before, and 15% level plans that were done that they're taking, and they're moving that forward to be able to get together a cost for us. So we're anticipating awarding a contract probably in November of this year, of 2020, for the design and construction to commence.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to answer the big question on everyone's mind, which is, when are we going to start construction? So Countywide will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Do you need more closet space? Hi, I'm Tracy Shadley, owner of Organize A to Z. We provide professional custom design solutions to keep you and your space organized, which helps reduce your stress, increase your productivity, and allows you to take control of your belongings. We are proud to be locally owned and operated, specializing in custom closets, garages, offices, and pantries. Call me today for your free consultation. Organize your space, organize your life.
Two things we can count on every year:
a new set of tax rules and great weather here in northern Arizona.
Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, locally owned and operated by Lewis Rice since 1997, is here for you all year long.
Your neighborhood Jackson Hewitt Tax Office will help you in all of your taxing situations.
Electronic filing is always free with your tax preparation at Jackson Hewitt Tax Service.
Get more in return. Call 1-800-234-1040 for an office near you.
With too many senior homeowners falling short in their retirement dreams, there may be great news for you. A reverse mortgage may be the answer. The flexibility it provides may help you with your retirement dreams, peace of mind, and quality of life in your retirement. For your in-home, no-obligation consultation, contact me at 928-225-7418. That's 928-225-7418. Or you can find me at Facebook at Jim Hostler, Reverse Mortgage Specialist.
Hi, this is Lori
and Melissa
from Sedona Soul Spaces. We are the premier source for all your interior design, decorating, and staging needs.
Every day people ask, why didn't I call you sooner?
Let us use our passion, creativity, and experience to make your life easier.
Don't make costly mistakes. Call us and we will help save you time and money.
We offer full-service interior design, custom furnishings,
complete home staging, turnkey vacation home packages.
Sedona Soul Spaces, creating extraordinary spaces that delight your soul.
I want to welcome you back here to Countywide. I'm your host, Philip Catafamo. We are continuing our conversation about the Verde Connect project with Yavapai County Public Works Director Dan Cherry. In the first segment, we kind of got caught up to speed as to where the project is here in 2020. And now the biggest question, when are we going to start construction? So Dan, let's start off with this first. What is the next stage of this project?
Yeah, as I mentioned before we went to break, the county is currently seeking or procuring a design and build team of engineer and construction contractors to move this forward to have a finalized design and ultimately start moving dirt on this project for phase one at the very least. And depending on where our proposals come in, the county may even consider funding both phases at one time. So with that in mind, we anticipate design to really commence probably around the end of this calendar year of 2020 or possibly in January of 21. And it's likely that there would need to be a few months of design work before the construction team can start roughing in roads and things like that for them to start really moving dirt. That we are anticipating would probably commence somewhere in spring of 21 for actually first moving dirt. But there may be some, geotechnical work and things like that that would be done with equipment out there on site prior to that.
So if the project were to secure that funding regarding both phases, would there be an instance where you can build phase one and then go immediately into phase two with that funding?
That is that is our hope, to be honest. And again, it will come down to dollars and cents. However, the benefits of building both phases at once would be tremendous. There would likely be savings of millions of dollars by doing it all at once, as opposed to deferring the second phase and coming back with a remobilization of a construction firm. The other benefit of having phase two under construction at the same time is we have an imbalance of earthwork between the two phases, and it would allow us to spoil excess material that we grade from phase one into phase two or vice versa as necessary. So, ultimately I could see, $10 million probably savings if we're able to do this at once. As we know, construction costs are always increasing. So by not deferring it, we would probably have some savings by getting it done earlier rather than later too.
You know, it seems like, I mentioned at the top of the show that 2020 has been a very interesting year, but it seems like the Verde Connect project, and obviously you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but the project has been moving, I would assume, to the most part as to the schedule that was laid out. So my question is, were there any sort of COVID-19 related delays, or has the project been able to move at the pace it needs to move?
Well, so that's good you asked that, Philip. We certainly had some hurdles to overcome with regards to the COVID-19. As part of the grant award for this project, we had a very specific timeline that we had to have that funding, what we call obligated, and that meant that we had to get through the NEPA process by July of 2020. And that was a very expeditious undertaking for us to be able to do that with our project team, with the help of our federal partners, which includes the Federal Highway Administration, the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, the Forest Service, and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. And we really had to orchestrate a pretty monumental effort to make sure we got this done on time. The biggest crux that came into play was the requirement of us to do a public hearing during the public comment period for our draft environmental assessment. And of course, that was right in the heart of COVID in May of 2020. We really had to put our heads together, and actually Yavapai Broadcasting was a huge player in that, allowing us to do a virtual public hearing that the federal government, the Office of Secretary of Transportation that oversees this grant, they felt that our efforts that we put together in order to give the public every opportunity to participate in a public hearing were met, and actually was utilized elsewhere because of the kind of program that we set up, that others had to do similar things throughout this year.
Yeah, it's kind of nice when you're able to find, workarounds, especially with COVID-19. A lot of, like you mentioned, the public comment period, which would usually be held probably in person, where people could attend and show up, was negated because of the virus and had to be, turned into more of a virtual event. And of course, we were happy to help. But like I said, it seems like the project is moving forward, which is great. I know you mentioned it a little bit, but I wanted to recap real quick. When are we going to start construction on at least phase 1?
So I'd say the public can anticipate seeing dirt moving out there in early 21. Let's say the first half of 21. Ideally, I've been kind of saying probably spring timeframe, so maybe April plus or minus. But it's really going to depend upon that team that we ultimately award a contract to for construction and design phase, and they will get to set some construction schedule themselves. The sooner they get to moving dirt, the sooner this gets built and the public can start seeing the benefit of it. However, they need to have a little more design work done before they can just start going out willy-nilly moving piles of dirt. So.
Okay. We're going to take another break, but when we come back, we will see if there's any other way that anyone can get involved with this project before it finally goes into the construction process. On the other side of this break, Countywide will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you.
From inspiration to installation.
If you need help with your decorating plan, call the pros at the Picture Window. We are your #1 source for top quality blinds, shades, shutters, and flooring. We've been in business here for 41 years, and our delightful sales staff has decades of experience. We're the locally awarded Best of the Best in both Sedona and the Verde Valley.
Don't pass up a free estimate on your project. Call the Picture Window now.
Paul Stanley here with Stanley Steel Structures. We offer shade structures that provide style, value, and performance. Our Equinox louvered roof opens and closes to give you the ultimate patio experience. We also offer Alumawood shade covers that looks like wood but lasts like steel and never needs painting or maintenance. Visit us at StanleySteelStructures.com. Contact us today and be covered tomorrow. Stanley Steel Structures. Let us add some space to your place.
The EPA says C&B Construction ranks in the top 1% nationally. C&B Construction invites you to see what energy efficiency and indoor air quality can be. We have won another Department of Energy Innovation Award, and C&B Construction is the only contractor in the country to win 6 consecutive EPA Indoor Air Plus awards. Experience our zero-energy, move-in ready homes at Crossroads at Mingus.
C&B Construction, locally respected, nationally recognized. Find out more at C&B Homes.com.
This is Bruce Morrow, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
Welcome me back here to Countywide. We are continuing our conversation about the Verde Connect project, and I am joined again by Yavapai County Public Works Director Dan Cherry. We've talked about a lot, Dan, and specifically we did mention some of the benefits of the road, but what are some more of the benefits of this proposed road that is soon to be a real road?
This road have been touched on throughout our environmental assessment process, and those include things like improving traffic circulation in the Verde Valley as a whole. I touched on multimodal accommodations for bicyclists and pedestrian traffic. It gives opportunity for the increased distribution of high-speed broadband through the area. We're going to put conduit in as part of this road that internet suppliers can utilize. It reduces emergency response times for first responders to areas. It connects communities such as the Yavapai Apache Nation. It is bisected by the Verde River, and it connects those two sides better across the river. It provides alternate routes for travel, both for locals as well as our visitors that come to the Verde Valley and recreate there. And most importantly, it provides additional access to the economic opportunity zone that was identified by the town of Camp Verde. I'd like to point out that this not only will provide better access to that zone, but the construction phase of this alone will also create local jobs, both in construction activities and the supply of materials. As you can imagine, there will be a tremendous amount of materials needed, and local providers of material can be a part of that. So.
Again, verdeconnect.com is the website if you want to get a recap on all the information that we talked about today and get an idea as to where we are and where this road is going to be. Public comment, is there going to be another opportunity for public comment? If so, when and where?
So the formal public comment period that we had as part of the environmental assessment meeting the requirements of NEPA has closed. That closed in May. We do have a public outreach effort identified as part of the design and eventual construction of this. And if the public has questions, they're happy to give us a call at the Yavapai County Public Works Office. And our project manager, who has done a tremendous job in moving this forward, his name is Roger McCormick. He is our Assistant Public Works Director with the county. And Roger is really heading up this project team as a whole, and he would be happy to help get questions answered as part of this process going forward.
Again, verdeconnect.com to get an overview of the entire project. And as Dan just said, you can contact the Yavapai County Public Works Department at 928-771-3183 if you have any questions or you specifically want to ask Mr. McCormick about the project specifically, or even if you just have public works questions in general. Dan, we are getting close to running out of time here. Is there anything else that anyone should know about this project?
I think we've touched on the overview of it well, Philip, and I greatly appreciate you having us on and giving us the opportunity to talk about this important project for us.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time, and as always, we're happy to help any way we can. Again, VerdeConnect.com is the website. The Public Works Department phone number, 928-771-3183. The Verde Connect project is getting very, very close to being a real road we can drive on, and it's quite exciting, and I can't wait to see it completed. Dan, once again, thank you very much for coming on. This has been this has been this episode of Countywide. I'm your host, Philip Catafamo. I want to wish you a great rest of your week, and we'll talk to you again next time.
Thanks, Philip. Appreciate you and your team very much. Thank you very much.